You know, I woke up 30 minutes ago.
I woke up 12 minutes ago, sucker. All right, man.
It was a late night of playing video games, I tell you. Welcome to Dicejunkies. This is well, I'm Xenodamus.
What's up, y'all? This is Q. As you can tell, we've been getting back to our gamer roots.
Oh, yeah.
We went back and I re-downloaded Skyrim and modded it to the point that you might as well call it something else. I mean, I think I'm playing the new Elder Scrolls game the way I modded my friggin' game. There's almost nothing in common with the original game, and Xeno went back to try to finally finish something he started.
Yeah. Now I've been trying to finish Kingdom Deliverance. Well, I started it when it first came out. Like, I pre-ordered it because it looked really cool. I like the idea of an RPG that wasn't necessarily a fantasy-based game. I thought that would be cool. The melee system was pretty cool. I enjoy the melee system. One of the best melee systems I think I've played in an RPG.
I'm still hoping they're going to introduce that in an Asian game because, like, I'm the opposite. I was looking at Way of the Samurai 4 because I also kind of thought it might be fun to play something that wasn't really fantasy. But when I want a non-fantasy old world game, you know, like an ancient medieval style game, I usually go for Asian. I
would love to see a good Asian RPG. I mean, the last real good Asian RPG was Jade Empire, I think.
Oh man, that was Chinese and it was amazing. And I have re-downloaded.
Yeah, Chinese is Asian.
I wish somebody would mod it up, man, to something modern, or just rehash it. I mean, it's old enough, and I think the last time I checked that the studio may not still be around. I'd love to see somebody.
No. Jade Empire. I think they remastered it not that long ago, but it really didn't.
No, I think I got the remaster because I got it on Steam.
Yeah, it really did not look like it was really.
So I'd love to see an indie developer rebuild that sucker from the ground.
That's BioWare, man.
I'm telling you, man, it'd be awesome if somebody made a sequel or grabbed it. I mean, they're rebooting everything. Reboot Jade Empire for me. It was fun. You know, reboot something we want. There you go.
I guess we'll use our technology to for the people that are viewing, you know.
Like, I'm gonna have to put that. I might have to actually put a new. I just came with another subject to hit the list, man. I think I want the reboots we want. And we actually list out reboots that people want to see.
What we need to do is start writing some of this down or adding it to our phones because we usually forget by the time the show rolls around. Yeah. It's like reboots.
Because you know, I mean, well, I'm saying there's stuff that's been dead for a while that I'd like to see again. And I mean, it'd be hard to mess Jade Empire up. You'd have to almost try. Yeah. It's so old that, like, how could you not make a decent reboot of it?
Yeah. But anyway, let's actually get into what our format here, because we just sort of gone off the walls right off the bat here. Let's talk about some news. Yeah, you know,
act like we're organized.
Okay. I know. Well, you know, other than the whole barely awake thing, I think we can do this, man.
Well, luckily, I'm waking up because I'm getting incredibly hungry.
Yeah.
So that helps. I'm getting hangry.
Hangry?
God, I hate that word.
Wow.
I just threw it out there for all the people that keep saying it to me that make me want to go kick them.
See, luckily that extra 15 minutes that I woke up before you allowed me time to run down to my kitchen and heat up some food while you had to travel over to here real quick and then come straight up here.
No coffee either, yeah. You're sitting up here. Y'all see he's depriving me. It's not my fault. He's depriving me of caffeine and food.
But anyway, news. There hasn't been a lot of news this week. We may talk about a couple of things that we've missed in the past that we want to talk about. The only real current news I really saw was the wrong button again. That's the wrong button again. Wow.
Keep trying. You'll get it.
I'm getting there.
Hey!
All right. Our editor's out of town too, so blame it on her. Because that's what we do.
Oh, we can talk about that. We did see Deadpool too. Finally, we got off our butts and saw it. Are we literally? I wasn't
gonna admit to the fact that we actually missed that one because we were so busy.
I'll man up. I mean, it's a movie I really wanted to see. But the thing is, we wanted to see.
But anyway, back to the news. We've got a trail here. We've got to follow, man.
All right, go ahead.
So there was Iron Fist trailer that hit net YouTube for season 2. What did you think, Q?
The fights look vastly faster and better, a real improvement. These fights actually look intense and do not look boring. They've upped the speed, which is a really good improvement. The story you commented on, I'll let you comment on the story just because you're kind of still disappointed, but then I guess it's because, that's your boy. But hey,
well,
I had to live through it with Luke Cage.
Yeah. I mean, my thing with the story is Luke Cage, season 2, brought in Iron Fist, and he really seemed to be getting a little more competent. And from the looks of this trailer, and I mean, trailers, I'm not going to say this is fact because it is just a trailer, but it looks like his competence did not improve as much as it felt like it did when watching him in Luke Cage season 2.
Yeah, I don't know where this falls in time frame, Luke Cage and this, because he seemed pretty controlled in Luke Cage. He seemed pretty zen, and he's not coming off zen in this one. So I'm starting to wonder if this all happens before. Mm-hmm. I hope it happens after, just because. Well, okay, no, I guess it does have to happen after.
Yeah, because
she's clearly got the arm.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she literally didn't have a flipping arm. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, that means we'll probably see a Luke Cage assist.
You
Which
think?
is going to be necessary because, I mean, the trailer spoils one huge story point. You literally see that Danny Rand.
Well, you don't see that he did. You can't tell if they just both ended up with it somehow. What? Nowhere does it say he lost it.
You saw him get him against there. Say I'm going to take what's mine and do the blood bidding they stole right from the Avatar Korra on his forehead. Like, the guy takes the Iron Fist, man.
I'm not going to make that.
Well, then
assumption.
If I'm wrong, that means you get to be surprised.
I'm just not going to make the assumption. I'm saying you might be right. It does appear that way, but
don't be wrong. I hope there's a climactic Iron Fist double fisting climax.
That would be awesome.
At the end. But I'm wondering if Luke Cage is going to have to step in there and assist him since the other guy has the Iron Fist. But the combat looks better, and let's be honest, for an Iron Fist show, that's kind of more important than it is in almost any other series because it's a kung fu.
Yeah. Wooden Ball in the chat room says he says it looks good. He likes it.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. I mean, yeah, he's making some mistakes, but at least he didn't rehash his old mistakes. It looks like they've done with the other.
I mean, they definitely
seasons.
they definitely look like there were some improvements, but I'm not gonna hold out for excellence on this one. Like, I'm gonna come in expecting it to be bad because I'm still hurt from the first one.
Danny Rand hurt you, didn't he? He hurt you.
He did.
Where did he touch you?
Right here.
Yeah, the only time he managed to hurt somebody with the fist. He hasn't landed a lot of those punches, man. He still has a low hit rate.
His TV show landed a mightier blow.
I mean, from what I saw from the trailer, the evil Iron Fist, Davos, has already landed more Iron Fist glow punches in like just the trailer. It looks like he landed at least 3, I think. Somebody will count that and say I'm wrong, but that's great. You have that kind of free time.
All right, let's see. What else? Was there anything else that we saw? Oh, yeah, this week we did see one other thing. Of course, as everybody knows, we don't really get, we try not to get too political. And this isn't necessarily political as much as it is social.
I don't know, man. This is interesting because this came around right after the last week. I found out some absolutely horrifying things about a lot of stuff about Britain.
Oh.
And it is very funny that they had the nerve to look at America. Like, never let a British person or anyone from England look at you and go, like, we're not as racist as you. Because I was like, holy crap. Some of the stuff that they did back in the day is, like, epic. And I only say that because we don't get political, but when I watch what you're about to show, like I went, yeah, that's interesting because I used to be like the person like, oh, Britain, they're fine. They never did anything really messed up in the past, and then it's like, I was wrong. I was very wrong.
Yeah, but anyway, so the thing is James Bond.
And Idris Elba.
This has been something that's been rumored and going around the internet. A lot of people have wanted it. A lot of people have spoke up against it. It's been sort of a racial debate. It's been a bit of a character debate, and because I'm not gonna say it's all racial based either. You know, some people. I mean, there are characters that I don't like to see people change the race of, but. They're a little more iconic and a little bit more I guess canon, you know, where with James Bond, you know, a lot of people have spoken up against Idris Elba. Idris Elba is a black man who honestly has the demeanor, I think, to pull it off, but a lot of people have spoken up against it.
Well, I believe I've stated that I told you at one point, and I'm going to rehash it here. My sentiment is that it really depends on, you need to decide what James Bond is. That's why all these people weighing in, I'm kind of like, it depends where you're coming from. I mean, if we're going with the fact that all the different James Bonds have not actually been sequential, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, my theory, and the theory, not just my theory, but a theory that the title of James Bond in 007 is literally that, a title. And James Bond is a moniker taken by Agent 007, and it's not actually the same person. Well, then it doesn't flip and matter who you get to play him if that's the case, because, you know, that's the title that's being passed down. I mean, the last James Bond was dramatically different from the previous James Bond. Katie Hopkins, like we just saw, had a big section where she gives a pretty almost witheringly potent denial of Idris Elba ever getting to be James Bond, which I found interesting just because, again, you know, I don't remember there being quite that much backlash about the last James Bond who, you know, changed a lot of the demeanor. Even the famous drink, he drinks Heineken's instead of was it a martini or whatever the drink. You know, so I kind of went, here's the thing. If it's supposed to be the same James Bond in all the movies, it's not actually a different guy, like actually just a different agent, then I go, okay, then yeah, that's a big change. If it's more of this is a title held by the person that's 007, then it's not a big deal. I mean, you've done Stranger Things. Give it a try. See what happens. If it doesn't work, you just put a new one in the next movie. I mean, James Bond is such a franchise that it can't be ended by one bad movie. Because I've seen bad James Bond's movie, and you have too. They're not all good. So it depends on what you're saying that it is.
Idris Elba had posted on Twitter, my name's Elba, Idris Elba. You know, as a Bond, and that's what triggered a reporter. What was her name again?
Katie Hopkins.
Yeah, Katie Hopkins.
Who,
to go on this long rant about why
I've never grown to dislike somebody so fast.
Yeah.
I have to admit, it was impressive. I was like, wow, I don't like you, and I like British people. I thought they were charming, but you are not charming.
And it's not something I normally keep up with. I'm not a huge Bond person. Like I watched the original Bonds, and then the last few
Sean Connery, man.
The last few Bond movies I haven't really cared for. But I don't see each iteration of Bond as being the same person, you know. And that's why I guess it doesn't bother me, is because it just seems like, you know, like you said, it seems
the way the movies go that it's even been almost implied that
Bond seems more like a title, you know.
And here's the thing. It isn't really up to her because she's no one. I mean, we checked to see if she was a producer or a director. No, she's like a friggin' like just a media personality. So I guess she's like the equivalent of our Rush Limbaugh or something. You know, that just jumps on and just gets this attitude of like, not saying Rush, saying her. She gets on and gets this attitude is like, you'll never be. It's not about you.
I mean, I heard about this watching Philip DeFranco had talked about it Friday, and that's what pushed me on it because, like I said, it's not something that normally comes up that much in my news.
I mean, if you want to say, hey, I don't think this will work, that's fine, but that isn't really the way she went about it. That's kind of why it irritated me because at this point, I'm just getting annoyed by people that are fostering this hostility and all this stuff. It's like, hey, just get up there and say, Idris, I don't think that's a fit. You know.
Well, my thing was, I mean, her explanation wasn't valid, and that's mostly where I came to it because she talks about how, well, he was silver spoon fed, he was all this. Basically, the thing is in today's current age,
he was this proper gentleman.
Yeah,
and I'm going like,
you can actually. Well, yeah. Well, the thing is you can actually grow up as, you know, a black man or whatever and be from wealth.
No, apparently not in Britain. Apparently, to her, like black men cannot be raised wealthy, especially here. It'd be proper gentlemen.
Like in the maybe the 1950s and 1960s, this would have been less likely, you know, to have had a more uppity bred person of certain races or ethnicities. But now we've been on this road long enough where we have that. So as far as that background goes, it can work.
Well, here's also too, the sad part is that I don't disagree with people that say let's not change Bond because I'm a nostalgic person myself, and I'll admit sometimes I don't like change. So I can support either side of the argument. And I want you to understand, I'm just attacking her argument because it seemed really silly. Because she keeps going, it's not about you being black, and then she pretty much goes, but he needs to be white, and you're like, that. I don't. Wait a minute. Those two sentences are contradictory because if it's not about race. Then why do you keep saying it's about race? Why does it matter? No. Why do you keep going, but race? I'm like, that's a contradiction. Just say it's about race. That's acceptable, too. I don't like whitewashing or blackwashing either. But here's the thing.
Well, I will
admit. Let me say this. I got to finish it, though, because I got to say this. I will admit this, though. I would go see the next Bond movie if it was Idris Elba. But not because I'm black. It's just because it's so different. Well, I'd be curious to see what it would be like.
It's also an actor that I actually really like.
Yeah, too. He's a great actor, but also I'd be curious. And let's be honest, like, is James Bond still kicking that much butt that you don't want to try it and see who will show up? Huh?
I guess the only reason it's really the real reason I even cared to talk about this too was just the fact. It wasn't the argument. It wasn't whether or not it was the fact of how she explained the argument that I did not really care for. Because I mean, I would go, I can see that if she was like, well, James Bond's always been white. This is a white character.
That would have been better than what she said.
Yeah. If we wanna MI6 or not MI, what's James Bond part of?
007?
007, yeah. Anyway,
did you get Mission Impossible 6?
I don't know, man. if you want this agent to be black, then let's do a different character, you know, which is fine. Okay, I can understand if you just don't want to change it for that reasoning.
I'm 004.
But to try to come up with this elaborate reasoning like she did, it was just like, okay, you're trying too hard, and it really doesn't make sense.
And the stuff she was saying was a good, like, he's this privileged silver spoon, like, confident. It's also call him arrogant, but I'm like, yeah, all the things you mentioned are not tied to race, and thus are not really a valid argument, sadly, because they're not. Because really, the only reason that Idris Elba shouldn't play Bond, let's just be realistic. I mean, look at us. We're a mixed freaking team here. We have no problem with each other going like, yeah, the reason people have problem playing Bond is because he's black and Bond is white. That's okay. Guess what? The world didn't catch on fire. That's a real statement. And you can even say, it's okay for this white man to go, I wish James Bond stayed white. It'd be fine. Yeah. It's okay for me to go, I wish he turned black. Though in reality, I'm used to a white Bond. Oh, but would I go check out the black Bond? Only because it's Idris Elba. That's what people keep getting off, though. To me, it's not about black or white. It's just that Idris Elba seems like he'd be pretty dang cool.
Well, it's also, to me,
if they said Wesley Snipes, I'd be like, no.
Yeah,
and I like Wesley, but not as much.
It's also because just the character playing Bond has never really seemed to matter that much. Like that part of the character doesn't seem to matter.
Really he's not even the main. Like the villains have more personality than the Bond half the time. Like they're usually like, oh, I went through this and now I have this grand goal, and Bond's just like, I'm going to stop you. I can't do a Bond accent. Idris Elba can though. See, that's why. See, but. I mean, the last Bond to me was such a departure from what I'm used to. I didn't like that Bond.
Yeah.
So I find it funny that now people are like upset that the guy who I believe would behave like the Bond I grew up with, but just doesn't look like him, you know what I'm saying, is the one that people have a problem with. Where I had a problem with the Bond who I felt I'm sorry, every time I look at that guy, he feels more like a friggin' soccer hooligan than Bond. Like he does not translate to me as a posh, privileged, upper-class British man. And I don't know his name, but I mean, he's a tough guy. He comes to me more like the dude from the Transport movies. You know the guy's name. I'm bad with names.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like he's more like, it's more that type of personality than a proper British gentleman.
Yeah.
Just Elba's closer, so that's why I like that idea of Idris Elba. I want my Bond to be back to a suave, charismatic person who's very smooth. And that's the way I see Idris Elba. So that's an argument for or against that uses actual, reasonable information.
Not to dwell on a topic for too long. I think you were telling me about something that actually happened. I think it's back in July, but we had missed it, and I did not hear about it. So I figured, hey, let's mention it because
in my defense, I normally avoid all things related to that because I've been burned.
Well, go ahead and tell them what you saw.
I have just now, yes, you may criticize me and ridicule me, become aware of the stinger at the end of the Teen Titans Go movie. I've been so busy trying to keep my son and his brother from seeing this movie at all cost, which I have succeeded at. Boom. And refusing to talk about it because I don't want to support it, that I did not know that there is a stinger. Why don't you pop it up there for us? For it looks like Teen Titans returning. Not Teen Titans Go, the real Teen Titans.
Oh, got it.
Hurry, there is not much time.
By the way, we got this off of YouTube. We did not steal this ourselves.
Oh, yeah, we're transmitting. This is the Teen Titans. Can anyone hear us? We think we found a way back.
Just in case y'all didn't hear that, he goes, this is the Teen Titans. Can anyone hear us? We think we found a way back. Previous to that, during the static, they said, we need to let people know we're still here. There seems to be a direct implication that they're saying that the Teen Titans original version is not gone and that they may be returning. This is very exciting for us fans of the original series because it was a very good cartoon. And we've been hoping that this Teen Titans Go at some point
would die.
would roll back to the original style is what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I can forgive a lot if they'll bring it back. I don't want, and I wonder how much of this is Disney because Disney's about making that money, and sometimes that works for us. I mean, sometimes it works for us, and it could be that Disney's like, man, we're hearing a lot of people wanting Disney. What's up?
Teen Titans is DC, right?
Oh, well, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot that. I'm predicting the future, everyone. They haven't gotten DC yet. It's so easy to think they own everything, though.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting they haven't gotten Disney yet. Hurry up, Disney. Get on it. All right, get DC. Go ahead and grab DC for us. But it looks like, and what it might do that I'm hoping is the case is they'll run both, which I can live with. You can have your Teen Titans Go for stupid people. I mean, for other people. And then you can have the Teen Titans for the older fans that really like where they were going with it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, we're clearly not getting a good live action, so we need something, man, or else I'm just going to abandon DC.
Yeah, isn't there supposed to be a new season of Young Justice or something? Did Netflix do like a season 3 or something?
Did they do it yet? I know there was
I don't
talk.
know. Anyway,
I told you I've been behind on DC, man. I mean, I haven't seen anything good from DC in such a while. I kind of just stopped following them. I'll admit it.
Yeah. Now I'm curious if that's
out as a trailer for season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen that there's going to be I see that there was a trailer out. I hadn't watched it yet, but I should jump on that and see because who knows? It might mean Netflix is known for a fast turnaround. That might be out within a month or two.
Yeah. It doesn't. Just says air date's going to be 2018. I don't see a release date on that either.
Honestly, they're both good enough that I have no problem with both of them being out. Like, I would not mind watching Young Justice and Teen Titans because they're both different enough to be interested. Especially because
apparently that happened around the same time too. I think we just missed a bunch of stuff there towards the end of July because. Yeah, Young Justice season 3 trailer and poster was released back in July.
Man. We were conning.
Yeah, possibly.
And then we kind of took August off. We told y'all when we got back, y'all know we did sell them. We said, look, we're kind of August is kind of our vacation month. We've been slow rolling, but with Static joining the Young Justice or appearing to join the Young Justice near the end of season 2, Virgil Hawkins. I'm looking forward to season 3. Because Static is one of my favorite DC characters. So I'm big into that. That means both series can give me something I want. Teen Titans was a great series. I loved all the characters on it. Young Justice was great, and I would love to see the return of Virgil Hawkins. So, hey, good. Thanks. Actually, that's got me a little optimistic for DC. Because after I saw Shazam flossing, I wasn't really feeling the movie. I now know what flossing is. My son has explained it to me. Yes, an 8-year-old had to explain what flossing was to me.
I don't know what this term is.
That was that weird dance there where he was doing where he was doing this with his arms back and forth. My son can do it great. He tried to teach his old man. It did not work.
So does that come from from drying off or something with a towel? Where you
go watch Backpack Kid floss? You'll catch up on it.
Okay,
I've done my work. You got to suffer through too.
Because I do remember there being a flossing, but it was one of those horrible things that some people did with towels where they did the towel.
No, it's more like you go front and back, and the faster you can do it, the better you are at it. And then, apparently there's some kid that got really big on YouTube or videos because he can do it while wearing a backpack, and I guess that's impressive. I mean, I can't do it standing, so yeah, I've tried it and I couldn't do it well.
Yeah, I'll throw that in the same box with the yeet and the dab and all that other shit.
And the nay-nay?
The nay-nay, the stanky leg.
I can stanky leg. You ain't stanky leg? Yeah, no, you went too far back. I can stanky leg. Now, ain't that all?
Hey, we'll go with the Superman.
I can dab too and dab my tail off. But no, the new movie, what that told me is the Shazam movie is pointed at a younger age group. And that's why I'm not knocking the movie to say it's not going to be good. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to be for me. It looks like it is very heavily pointed at a young, and I don't mean younger like 16. I mean younger like my son,
apparently,
8, 9, 10.
I'm apparently zoning in and out. I didn't even realize we had switched over to Shazam.
I just said I was wow. Okay, you're gone. Yeah, that's what I was talking about the flossing.
Oh, okay.
We watched the trailer on this show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In and out. Yeah, that thing he was doing, that weird thing.
Okay, yeah. I got you.
The point is that Shazam's pointed at an age group that's so low that even I, who watch cartoons, think it's going to be too young an age group for me to follow.
Right.
So I don't think I'm going to probably catch that movie unless I take my kids to see it if they ask. Then I'll take my son to go see it. But I don't have it on my movie list anymore because it seems to be aimed at very much a younger age group.
All right. Anything else in the news you want to talk about?
We Happy Few finally got its full release. For those of y'all that watched it beta played, it's an indie game where Britain is basically going through some bad stuff because World War I or II? I want to say World War II went really bad for them. And what it basically premise is, they have these pills that make you happy and make you forget things. And anybody that stops taking them or becomes resistant becomes a downer. And you play somebody who's becoming a downer. And you're starting to see that everything around you isn't what it appears to be. Then it ties into a really jacked up story where apparently Germany won the war. And Britain, the reason everybody's taking joy in Britain is because, they did something really messed up, and I'm not going to spoil it. They did something so messed up that the entire citizenry takes happy pills to try to forget the thing they did. And it's not really horror. It's more suspense. Unfortunately, it appears it's buggy as all heck to get out. which is odd because it's been in beta. It's like it's been play tested so much in beta, but apparently the final release was catastrophically buggy. And also, but I'm going to point you toward one of our, we wish we're friends, but really won't return our emails, Jim Sterling. He does a big video on it and even voiced some lines for it. But that's where I got my info from.
Okay.
And then apparently it's buggy as all hell. Now, Hello Neighbor, if we're going to get real old, because that's been done for a while, Hello Neighbor is been looking good. And they put out a, no, this is new. Recently, they put out a game now where you can play as the neighbor. And you're a bunch of kids investigating his house, but one of you is secretly the neighbor. So it's cool because the bad guy is in your team. And I kind of like it because it's a change on Dying Light and all these horror games where it's like, you four play the survivor and I play the killer. Except this time, it's, yeah, one of you is the killer, but you don't know who it is. And they're literally following you around, and they can pick up the keys and stuff that you're trying to find. It's pretty messed up. I think that's actually a really new take on the whole survival game that's been doing now. And I mentioned that once, didn't I? I think I said the new killer for Dead by Daylight ought to be someone that can pretend to be a survivor. And lo and behold, somebody has literally done that.
All right.
That's for the gamers out there. He don't know what I'm talking about. All that was Greek to him. What's Dead by Daylight?
Dead by Daylight. I know about Dead by Daylight. I mean, I saw your past roommate playing a while back. So
you actually did. So
and we've discussed it several times. It's a popular enough game where I've kept up on it on the news. Now these other two, I did not know what you were talking about. That
Hello Neighbor was an
Hello
game,
Neighbor,
but the survival game's the one that's new.
But you act like
cool.
You act like I don't game. Like I'm constantly over here gaming, and you act.
Sure you are.
I just don't watch as many YouTube videos about games that I don't play as you.
Well, I mean, that's how I know about this.
Yeah, I know.
I'm watching you. I'm always watching you.
But anyway, so all right, I guess that ties up the news for this week.
I tried.
Yeah, you did good. You did good, man. Yeah.
I made it sound like we've been keeping up with stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Somewhat.
Kind of.
Except for the number of times that we admitted that we weren't. But
well, I was hoping Wood and Bai was going to jump here. He's in the chat and throw out some recent news for us, but he's left us hanging. And I was hoping he was going to be like, yeah, talk about this. Instead, he's just like, I love watching y'all flounder.
But I tell you what, we don't have a guest today, as everybody if you notice. It's just the two of us. Both of our possibilities for guests fell through today, so I thought we'd take this next section and actually talk about some of the stuff we're doing, man. So let's move on to that. Like I said, if you're watching the YouTube as normal, this next section will be out as a separate video. If you're listening on the podcast or watching us live here on Twitch, which we do every Sunday at 3:30. Just continue watching, and you'll see this next section. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff if you're on YouTube.